Hello, my name is Hector Olivares, and I'm here to talk about one thing that happened here in the United States of America. On December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed by the Japanese Empire. It was a surprise attack on the US. We never saw it coming. By then, it was too late. All of America had seen what they had done. They had blamed the Japanese people. On February 19, 1942, the president had given an executive order to evacuate all of Japanese American people to a place they would never forget. Most of the people were terrified of what was happening. They had to leave their homes and all their stuff behind to be taken, sold, or stolen while they were being transported into internment camps. This was the beginning of a 2-year long imprisonment ordered by the government to isolate all of Japanese Americans or of Japanese ancestry to be sent to different camps all around the world because they were scared to have spies among them. During those 2 long years while they lived in the camps, they were only allowed to bring from the outside world what they could carry. So this means only a suitcase for many, if not all. They were given they were given one-bedroom apartments, a mess hall to eat in, and public bathrooms. They were not only violated of their rights, but they were also violated of their privacy. The bathrooms, when they first had gone, had no stalls, so women had to make temporary stalls out of cardboard boxes. Some men and women were furious and thought it was an outrage they were being treated like animals. Not until the military needed men and women to join the military, Japanese men went in eagerly to try to prove their loyalty to the United States so they could have their families removed from the camps that they were in. The men and the men who did go into the army were put into an all-Japanese regiment to prove to the world who they would stand and fight for. This was the 442nd Regiment, who were and still are heroes today, because they were the ones to stand major casualties, and they were sent into impossible missions only to succeed what the others couldn't. Not until the war ended in 1944, the Japanese people could have gone home, but there was one thing: most people had sold their homes before they went into the camps. The United States of America had given the Japanese people a choice of a one-ride stop to anywhere they wanted in the US. But most Japanese Americans stayed at their camps just because they were scared to go back into society, because they knew they were going to face hatred towards them. While some did go and try to fit in with society, the hatred towards them was brutal, to rallies against them, to throwing bricks at houses, or brutal beatings at the streets were taken to Japanese Americans. Some were even so poor that they went homeless when they tried to go back into the real world. It took the United States of America 40 years to try to apologize to Japanese Americans for what had happened to them in those 2 years and to get paid. Meanwhile, the 442nd Regiment were the real heroes and proved themselves to the US. They fought against Germans and freed concentration camps, and back home, they lived in one. How funny does that sound? When we look at it, we were no better than the Germans who enslaved Jewish people because we had done it to the Japanese. But the only difference was we didn't torture the prisoners or make them work. Like George Tackey said, I went in and fought with the war with the 442nd Regiment, and they kept on saying about the Declaration of Independence and men and women were created equal and that they are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He also said, we didn't feel happy being prisoners of war. At the time, we got our rights stripped away. To me, that feels wrong to do to another human being, but it could just be me. So I close out with this. After everything I just told you, how would you feel if that was you in that situation with your family and kids living in those conditions and regulations? In a one-bedroom apartment and get bad and sometimes spoiled food. The choice was ours. We did what we thought was right. We should never do it again.